Well, and again, I'm back, your teacher Abisoft. Today we are going to look at topic 2 of our syllabus, and that is computer management. Remember, I told you whatever we do, whatever we discuss, we are basing and relying on the Ugandan curriculum. We are following the Ugandan syllabus. So whatever we're going to discuss, we shall be relying on what the Uganda curriculum is asking. So this is our second topic on our curriculum, and that is computer management. Within computer management, we shall be looking at a number of, and these topics include, we shall look at computer booting, we look at what a computer program is, we discuss what a file is and what a folder is. We look at how do we deal with files and folders, how do we create files, how do we create folders. We look at common utilities, we look at the desktop environment, we look at the antivirus, the utility programs that we have as far as computer management is concerned. So today, we are basically looking at computer management as a topic. Computer management as a topic. And under computer management, we are going to look at booting as our first subtopic. What do we understand by the term booting? How do we define booting? Booting refers to the process. The process of starting, or restarting a computer system. Booting refers to the process of starting or restarting a computer system. We emphasize on starting or restarting. Some of you define booting as a process of starting a computer. That means you are defining only one term. You are only looking at one type of booting. Yet you also have another type of booting which involves restarting a computer system. Booting is further categorized into two types. We shall discuss it in broad. Types of booting. One, we have the cold booting. Which is sometimes called the hard reset. And two, we have the warm booting, which is sometimes called the soft reset. Okay? Are we looking at cold booting? Cold booting refers to the process of starting. This involves starting a computer that has been completely off. A computer has not been working, and then you turn it on. So the process of starting a computer that has been completely off. That is what we call cold booting. Then we have warm booting. Warm booting refers to the process of restarting now. This is now restarting. So it refers to the process of restarting a computer that has been working. Okay? You find a computer is working, and then for one or the other reason, we can choose to restart this computer. That process is called warm booting. Further, we go to look at the different ways of performing a warm boot. Ways of performing a warm boot. Those are the ways of restarting, the different ways of restarting a computer. One, the most common way that people use is when we press Control plus Alt plus Delete. So this shortcut, Control Alt Delete, can help you restart a computer. When you press Control Alt Delete on your keyboard, you'll find that it will prompt you to restart your machine. Two, we can use the normal way, whereby we do the initial, or we use the normal ways of restarting a machine, whereby we need to go to our start button. We go to shut down, and then choose the restart option, and then last, number 3, also restart a computer by pressing the reset button. You find that there are some computers that have the reset button. We can also use the reset button to restart a computer system. Then secondly, we can look at reasons. We look at the reasons why we may restart a computer system. Reasons why we may restart. Reasons for warm booting. Reasons for warm booting. We can say installation of a new software. When a new software has been installed in a computer system, you find that a user may be prompted to restart a computer system. Two, then we can bring in the upgrade, because installation and upgrading are two different issues. So we can then look at software upgrade. You find that after upgrading the software, a user may be prompted to restart the computer system. Number three, when installation of a new hardware. So you find that in most cases, if new hardware components are installed into the computer system, the computer prompts the user to restart. So that is also a reason as to why we may restart a computer system. Number 4, when the computer program freezes. When the computer program freezes, you find that if a computer freezes, or if a certain program freezes, a user is prompted to restart a computer system. When there is an update that has been installed, we looked at that one. When a computer program encounters an error from which it cannot recover. Error. Error in a computer system. Error in a computer system. So when a computer system encounters in an error that it cannot recover, you find that we or the user can be prompted to restart the computer system. When the computer component fails to respond to the instruction, yes. Number 6, when the computer component or when the computer hardware fails to respond. Sometimes if you input a mouse or a keyboard or any other hardware component into a computer system and it fails to respond appropriately, you may find that a user may be prompted to restart the computer system. So those are some as to why a user may be prompted to restart the computer system. So here we look at the booting process. You find that a number of learners fail to clearly explain how the booting process is conducted. They fail to clearly explain how the booting process is conducted. But we take ourselves through simple steps on how the booting process is conducted. 1. If power is supplied to the computer system, I'll redirect you from here and then try to summarize. Step number 1. Power is supplied to the computer system. So here the power supply sends a signal to the component in the system unit. The CPU activates the BIOS. That is the basic input-output system, which is responsible for loading OS from the permanent location to the RAM. So you find that here, number 1, when power is switched on, here the CPU activates BIOS. The CPU activates the BIOS. And remember, the BIOS is the one that is responsible for loading the operating system into RAM. Remember the operating system. The operating system resides, the OS resides on the hard disk. It is permanently stored on the hard disk. So when the BIOS is activated, you find that the operating system now leaves the hard disk and then set into RAM. So that is step number 1. When you switch on your socket, or the power socket or the switch of the computer, 2 things happen. The CPU activates the BIOS, which BIOS loads the operating system into RAM. Number 2, the BIOS performs the post. The BIOS performs the post. You find that post, this is power on self-test. So the BIOS performs the post. Post is power on self-test. This involves the checking whether all the necessary hardware components of a computer system are very well set, are very well connected, and are present. So you find scenarios that your computer may be missing a RAM chip. The computer will not start. Your computer may be missing a hard disk. It will not start. Your computer may be missing a keyboard. You find that it will give you an error message. Why is the computer able to do all that? Because of the power on self-test. Here, necessary hardware components are checked to see that they exist into the computer, they exist, and they are connected on very well. Here, BIOS performs the post, which checks the availability and the working status of the computer components, such as mouse, keyboard, adapter cards, and the series of messages are displayed. So you find that here, at this stage, that's when the computer gives a number of messages which you can interpret and say, yes, my computer is functioning well, my computer does not have this, or my computer does not have this. Number three, results of post. Results of post are compared. Results of post are compared with data in the CMOS, chip. So we're looking at the results of post are compared with the data in the CMOS chip. So you find that when BIOS and when post is done, the result is now compared, because the CMOS, the complementary metal oxide semiconductor, you find that it keeps a number of data. It keeps some system data. Which data is compared with the result that is got from the post? Number four. BIOS looks for system files. BIOS looks for system files from the hard disk. So when this data matches, data that is from the result of the post and data that is stored on the CMOS chip, when we find a match of this data, or when we do not find any reason that stops the operating system to load, then BIOS goes ahead and loads the system files from the hard disk. So the system files and the kernel of the operating system are then loaded into RAM. And then the operating system, finally, the operating system loads the configuration information, and then that's when you see a display on your screen. So after the operating system is fully loaded into memory, then other system files are also loaded, and then here we see a welcome screen, and at this moment of time the computer is ready for use. So these are the basic steps of the booting process.